Dear Lord, I would simply ask that you allow us to be your humble servants and move forward with the best interests of our community and our county at heart. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. This time we will move to roll call for attendance, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Webster. Here. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Here.
Commissioner McMaster.
Here.
Commissioner Garber. Here. Commissioner Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Plowman.
Here.
Chairman Root.
Here. Everyone is here. This time we will do approval of the minutes. We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16, 2019 Board of Commissioners meeting.
I would make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second to the motion?
Second?
Second. Discussion on the minutes. Corrections. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. The minutes are approved. We will move to the approval of our bills. Mr. Plum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 5/17/2019, 5/21, 5/28, 5/30, 5/30, 6/6/2019, 6/6, 6/7, 6/13, 6/13 of 2019. The total $7,356,792.77, plus wire transfers, ACH, EFTs, $4,372.59, $174,248, for a grand total of both of $7,535,413.36, and to authorize the warrants be drawn from the Treasury for same.
Support. We have a motion and support on paying the bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster.
Yes.
Commissioner Garber.
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman.
Yes.
Commissioner Webster.
No.
And Chairman Root.
Yes. Approve the bills. At this time, we will move to the first opportunity for the public to address the board, remembering that there is a 3-minute per speaker time limit. All I have right now is clerk.
I handed out a sheet. This is the remainder of the court side from Monday's finance meeting that I did not have available for you. So if you wanted to look that over and we can talk. The other thing I just wanted to address, because Chairman Root had to leave yesterday, I did want to make sure that you understood clarification when we were talking about the vital fees. And yes, I did say that I was uncomfortable with it. What I was not added in that conversation is that Commissioner McMaster and I never had a chance to get back together as to what that looked like. So in the conversation we had, I explained that. It's a toss-up because this is the new reality for the vitals records, and it is, the walk-in traffic has probably quadrupled. So I don't know when the fees were increased last time. So that is a conversation I am willing to have, but being very transparent that yes, I am uncomfortable with it, but it is a conversation that I think we need to have because there's no offset for the costs that we do incur on the vital side with those supplies and everything that we do have to provide everything on. So I just wanted that to be clear. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is Ann Arwen.
Hi, I'm just a citizen. I've come to your meetings a couple of times in the last years, and I was really interested to come about the emergency manager position because of what I read in the newspaper. So I did a little research after hearing your meeting yesterday about the type of and amount of emergencies that we've had in the county. I've only lived here for about 8 years, so I don't have a big history. But what I was able to find out was that there have been very few emergencies. There's been, of course, the tornado. There's been some flooding in various areas. The most that I was able to find on the internet had to do with the 911 phone system and dispatching, those kinds of issues, but not a lot of emergencies. And then yesterday, the information came up that there were times when you said, no, we don't need a full-time emergency manager. And so I'm just interested, and I don't know that you answer these questions, but it's a question I'd like to pose, is what makes this man, this situation, different from what has happened in the past, given that this is a relatively small county with very few people? That's my only issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time to address the Board of Commissioners? Public comment. Hearing nothing, we'll move into our committee reports then. We will start with Commissioner Olshausen today. Anything to report from your committees?
Yes. We're having, I'm on the Health and Wellness, Mental Health Board, and meeting with we're also going to have, we just had one new board member, and I'm on the nominating committee, and we're going to meet next week and for another person that we're short of. Also on Shiawassee County Council on Aging Board, and things are moving along good over there. And also on the 911 Board, and things are moving along good there. And also on Shiawassee Economic Partnership, our annual meeting is going to be the 26th of June for the year. Yep, it's in Owasso. Yep. I think the building's somebody on Main Street, so those are the things that are going on.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Olshausen. Commissioner Plowman, anything from your committees?
Oh, yeah, Shiawassee County Road Commission, their annual report was very good. It's an A+ rating. They found no discrepancies in their activities. I have that. They have it on file too, and this copy will remain with the commissioners if you want to look at it. And there's lots of little letters in there. The accountants were quite happy. Also, a major road, like Britton Road and the rest of Bennington Road, got the blacktop down, but they'll start to do chip seal on top of that very soon if it stops raining. But they got the blacktops down, and most of those major thoroughfares that go across the county. Again, I reported the rotation of their old trucks out and the new trucks in have been brought back up to the acceptable levels, so they don't have to fix a lot of old things. They're starting to get back to what they used to do. Other than that, they're going along pretty decent. And on that one, and the other I have Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec met last week. We went out to the Lytle Road Park and we looked at that. We're going to add a picnic table and a couple of trash barrels. But also we had great discussions about looking for grants and putting more money in the Kirby Road Park and also the Chi-Town Dam. Of course, many of you are familiar with Henderson Park with the new playscape, which has received great accolades and is being used on a daily basis out there. And so on and so forth. But major problem we have right now in the parks is the grass grows and then it rains and it rains some more and it rains some more. You try to cut it and then it rains some more. So we're working even Saturdays to keep the grass cut. We have lots of reservations for our parks this summer. I think we're up to almost 40. For 40s for several different parks, and that increases daily. I know Tim kind of keeps track of that, but looks pretty good for activities, which we're quite happy about. I think that's all I need to talk about.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Plowman. Commissioner Webster, anything from your committees?
On the Valley Area Agency on Aging, I had the opportunity to attend the Senior Power Day back on May 22nd. It was at Huckleberry Railroad Village. It was on a day that was soggier than today, pouring down rain. And they had several large tents set up. I would say there were probably at least 1,000 senior citizens there. The rain didn't keep them away. And it's a day of advocacy, of elected officials are there. We helped serve lunch, just interacting with the seniors and helping them get connected to resources and hearing what the issues are that they are concerned about. So that was an interesting first year learning experience. And The other thing that I have done some work on is pulling together a meeting for the Community Corrections Advisory Board. It has not met for several months, probably years, and so I have a meeting scheduled for July 18th at noon at a Circuit Court Jury Room.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Webster. Commissioner McMaster.
Okay, so, Health Board, obviously we had our, Director Johnson had the big open house a couple weeks ago, some of you attended. Obviously a lot of stuff continued to happen with Health Board, a lot of good things. I happened to attend the Safe Serve 2-day class that the department put on. It was very well taught, very well attended. 911, there's a Central Dispatch Committee. We have the audit back in the Yo, which I believe will be presented to us in July at our Wednesday committee, the whole meeting, I believe. GSD Michigan Works, that meeting's tomorrow morning. Today I went to the I-69 Economic Development meeting that's held every other month. That was also in the pier. That kind of presentations of some brownfield programs. Someone from MDEQ gave a presentation, and they just kind of went through some of the projects that are going on. Talked a lot about Train 360, which ties in with my Shiawassee Trail Coalition Meeting Board that I sit on. It also ties in with GSL Regional Planning Commission. The money got passed through there, but the boat has gone down the Shiawassee River from Oakland to Genesee, Shiawassee to Saginaw to film, take pictures of the river, and it's going to be available online. And outfit was hired to do it. It's gone all over the country doing rivers and national parks and everything. City of Shiawassee meetings I've been attending. The big thing right now is they're in their lottery process for the marijuana shops. There's going to be 4 of those. Midwest Trail Authority. Unfortunately, our portion of the trail that runs along M21 is still failing because of improper limestone that was placed, and we're still trying to figure out money-wise what's going to be used to kind of bring that up to speed. I think that's all the stuff I said. Planning Commission didn't meet this last month. That's everything. Shell Garden is slow moving because of the weather. That's all I can say
For
about
another
that.
day.
So, that's it, thank you.
Commissioner McMaster. Commissioner Marks. Commissioner Garber.
I guess what I would like to report on, and I know I kind of have said this before, is that I do continue to attend the Veterans Board meetings and conversations with the director there. I am absolutely confident that we as a board are doing everything we can to help and support our veterans with the resources that we have. Our chairman of that board does an excellent job. So despite a few of the things that we do here, I'm confident that we are doing our best and doing a good job. And that is my report.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I guess if I could piggyback on that, with all these conversations we've had about the tiny homes and all this stuff, and I don't know, Shelley, if you're going to talk about your shelter today or not, that's what you heard, but I believe that is our solution. If we do have homeless veterans, we are going to have a homeless shelter downtown in Wausau shortly here. They had their soft opening during Kerwood. So I know we have every month, we have people coming, talking about it, using county property and everything, but I believe what's going on downtown is going to work. It would fix the problem, and it's open to homeless veterans, correct? So, just want to add that.
Thank you. Do we have anything else for committee reports or anything that we may have missed before we move on to our agenda? All right, we'll go on to the committee of the whole. Commissioner Marks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move at this time to approve the minutes of the June 12, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Support.
We have motion and support on the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting. Do we have any discussion or corrections on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. The motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Marks. Move to Economic and Physical Development, Commissioner McMaster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item A, move to approve a request for the amendment to the Shiawassee County zoning map for property located in section 18 of New Haven Township, portion of parcel ID number 003-18-100-004-07, from R1A, one family rural residential, to M1 light industrial, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support. So a motion and support. Do we have any discussion on this? All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. The motion passes.
Item B, move to adopt resolution number 19-06-07, the Shiawassee County Policy on Enhanced Access to Public Records, and authorize the board chair and county clerk to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
The motion and support. Discussion on this motion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
and Chairman Root.
Yes. Motion passes.
Item C, move to approve a farmland PA 116 agreement for Robert Birchmark for property located in Hazelton Township, parcel number 004-12-200-015-001. Support.
A motion and support. Discussion on this. Roll call vote for this as well.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. Passes.
Item D, move to approve the minutes of June 10th, 2019 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting. Support.
Support on the minutes. Do we have any discussion or corrections on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. That motion passes.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner McMaster. This time we will move to, I'm sorry, I keep looking over here, he's got this Budweiser cup. He's got a beer in there.
It's water in there, buddy. It's water.
But County Finance Administration, Commissioner Plowman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to authorize an increase to the Board of Canvassers' compensation when canvassing all types of Shiawassee County special, primary, and general elections from $45 per day to $45 per half day up to 4 hours, and $75 per full day to be effective immediately upon approval, and to be paid out of the election budget, line item number 101-262-725.005.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Discussion on this motion at this time. From anyone? Not, do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Abstain.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
No.
Chairman Root.
No. The motion passes.
I move to approve up to $25,000 for the purchase and installation of replacement chiller unit to repair the air conditioning in the circuit courthouse.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Discussion on this item. All right, we will do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
No.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
No. Motion passes.
I move to approve the payment of Shiawassee Conservation District invoice number 2423 in the amount of $22,317.64 to cover the cost of its spring electronic waste recycling event conducted on May 4th from the Waste Management Fund, line item number 230-230-700.000.
Support.
We have a motion and support. We have discussion on this item. If none, we'll do another roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
No.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
No. Motion passes.
I move to approve the IT contract with Shiawassee RESD in the amount of $118,500 per year for 2 years.
Support.
A motion and support on the IT contract. Any discussion on this? Another roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. Motion passes.
I move to approve the revised budget calendar for fiscal year 2020 to allow time for department heads and their deputy administrators to receive specific BSNA budgeting training prior to submitting their budgetary request.
Support.
We have a motion and support. We have discussion on this motion. Anyone seen it, looked at it, disagree with it? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Aye. Motion passes.
I move to approve the minutes of June 10th, 2019, Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
So motion and support. Any corrections? Any changes to the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Plowman. This time we'll move to Public Safety and Courts. Commissioner Webster.
I move to authorize the front of the court to hire an administrative assistant at circuit court salary grade 3 to fill a vacancy.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Do we have discussion?
I have some questions on how this works. Because to be honest, the first few days, I just assumed it was a refill of a vacancy. When I looked deeper into it, it looks a little more complex over my head than I originally understood.
You have some individuals here that can address our concerns.
I can address that.
Thank you.
What's your question?
Well, what position are we refilling?
So we had somebody who retired, and there was internal movement due to the complexity of her job. So with that internal movement, the lowest paid position in the front of the court is being replaced because there's a vacancy there due to a retirement. I can, if you want me to lay it out for you, I can.
Please do.
Okay.
Yes.
So on May 24th, Mary Shiawassee retired in the position of financial coordinator. The financial coordinator position was posted internally in the clerk's office, vital records side, and in the front of the court pursuant to the Circuit Court Employees Association contract. It was an internal posting. Amy Ulmer, who held the position of enforcement officer, made the unilateral move to position of financial coordinator, same pay grade. She moved over. This left the enforcement officer position vacant. The enforcement officer position was posted internally in the clerk's office, vital records side, and in the front of the court pursuant to the Circuit Court Employees Association contract. Robert Parker, who held the position of support caseworker at a pay grade 4, enforcement officer is a pay grade 6, applied and was moved to the position of enforcement officer. The enforcement officer, this left the support worker position vacant. The position of support caseworker was posted internally in the clerk's office, vital records side, in the front of the court pursuant to the Circuit Court Employees Association contract. Colleen Roos, who held the position of account clerk administrative assistant, pay grade 3, support caseworker as a pay grade 4, is going to be moved to support caseworker effective June 17th, which leaves the vacancy of account clerk administrative assistant.
So basically shuffle up.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So just for clarification, so we got no new positions created, it's just moving everybody around.
No new positions.
What was our, so we have no additional FTEs. As far as January 1, 19, there won't be an additional body. Because I'm trying to figure out if, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm trying to make sure that somebody wasn't not replaced or not filled, and then at the beginning of January, say there's 10 employees, but because somebody wasn't filled at the end of last year, now there's gonna be 11 because we never backfill or never filled this, people shuffled around. I'm just checking, I'm just making sure.
No, we had somebody retire in May, and there's actually one less person because I'm doing a dual role right now. So the front of the court position is vacant, and I'm I'm doing that role along with circuit court administrator, so there's one less person.
Do we have an ETA on the replacement for the court? No.
Do not right now.
Commissioner McMaster? Okay. Do we have anything else? Anyone else need anything on this one? All right. We'll do a roll call vote.
Nope, I'm starting.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes, motion passes.
Item B, I move to authorize the circuit court to enter into a contract for mental health court services with Shiawassee Health and Wellness, and authorize the board chair to execute the board's approval of the contract.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on this item?
It's a contract.
Yeah, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. Motion passes as well.
Item C, I move to authorize the animal control field officer to move from step 4, $18.90 an hour, to step 5, $19.64 an hour on AFSCME pay grade 5.
Support.
A motion and support. Discussion on this item.
I have a question on this. The wording of this motion is different than last night's motion. Can we, I don't recall that we were moving a pay grade, that we were talking about paying more if the person was a deputized officer.
Well, that was a suggestion, but the will of the board indicated that the original plan would just simply move him up, one step up the same pay grade. I had expressed reservations, not because I was against this, I just thought that it was a good idea to have an actual step up, but nevertheless, the board reflected that this is their desire, and that's reflected here.
So is it now true that if the animal control field officer is not a deputized officer, they would still be up the step?
Not necessarily.
It sounds like we have made this position now a step that it wasn't before.
No, that step is there, it's just the next step up. He is moving to it approximately 9 months sooner than he would have anyway.
So if the animal control field officer has been a step 4, and now we're saying that we're going to make that step 5, how is that not?
No, he's pay grade, what it is he's pay grade
Yeah, you can
5,
use
the acting
steps.
pay grade
Okay.
5. These are
Okay.
just steps in that pay grade,
Okay.
which he receives annually, on his anniversary hire date.
And
So,
I just want to say, I don't understand really either why we gotta go up a step just to, whether that has anything to do with whether he's certified or not certified. I mean, he's in a step grade, I believe he moved up like everybody did in the wage study when we put him on this study, so he's got 6 steps in pay grade 5. We move him up, I guess I'm lost on the idea as to why we're just bumping him a step because he's certified or not certified.
that was the proposal put forward to the board last night.
So that was what Butch wanted, was to move it up.
That's what Butch was asking to do. I had suggested there be an actual slight increase at each step.
And then we determined that his job,
Just do it that way.
didn't we determine that his job description that we sent to Mark Notley stated this is a sworn full
Yeah,
sheriff's
it
or law
has,
enforcement officer? I mean, we said that in there, so I mean, I gotta,
Yes,
the
Chair.
steps are accounting for the fact that he was sworn and not a.
well, it would appear
So in
so.
that case, I don't know why.
You don't always know whether it was fully considered at the time. There's a lot of things that happened, but.
Well, when we're talking about considering whether there's a scale for a non-certified animal control, I want to say dog catcher, but animal control, and then a sworn, if we're talking the difference between that and we're looking at a wage study that had directly in there that this is a sworn law enforcement position, I got to assume that those numbers on that scale, and maybe there's not a need for the step. Am I missing something, Commissioner McMaster? I mean,
I think part of this is the increase is because he will be serving, in addition to his animal control, he will be another road patrol, which goes along with the vehicle that's being equipped for him to be more than just backup on calls. He can,
See, I thought we were compensating them a step because we thought this step was being compared to non-sworn, non-law enforcement officers. So that's where I'm having a problem. If we've got a wage study that compared him to sworn, then we don't really need to jump that, because I understand that, yes, he's helping and assisting, but we're no longer on a different wage scale. We're on a scale that considered law enforcement officer. So
I was under the impression that the step up was because you had extra job duties.
That was I think that's the case.
because he's gonna be a fourth road patroller, or whatever he will be.
all right, well, I mean, if everybody's comfortable, I guess we can vote for it. Anybody, any other discussion?
Can I point out the differences between what you guys approved last night?
Yes, please.
I mean, the pay rates are the same, and really the difference is, it references the AFSCME contract, but it says for the animal control for an MCOLS, LES certified animal control officer, the rate of pay for this position would be grade 5, step 5, $19.64 an hour with step raises pursuant to the union contract. So yesterday, what you guys were talking about was the certified and the non-certified, and you did talk about two different.
And I think looking at the job description that was sent to our wage consultant, it stated right in there. Now, if we had sent one that didn't say or specify that this was a sworn, then I would question our scale, but being that it said it was in there, I think it's probably accounting for that. That's my take, maybe I'm misunderstanding.
I don't know if I remember us talking about him being on the road though in the study.
We probably didn't.
I don't think-
we probably.
No,
I really don't
I asked
think
Coach, I said, so what does this mean for road patrol? And it's an extra person, so it's if they're going from 3 to 4, that's a 33% increase, or 4 to 5, that's 20% increase, 25% increase in road patrol. I think part of this confusion is before he was an animal control officer in a position that doesn't necessarily.
Doesn't have to be a sworn officer.
Correct. Like the Chargers and the.
We're exactly where he would be anyway, it just would have taken an extra 9 months. And then there's still no difference, but it was made clear to me that they were fully happy with the intent
Yeah, that sounds like a target to
to
me.
just move up a step, and as opposed to maybe proposing an actual increase rate. But, so they made it clear this is what they wanted, this is what's before us. There isn't a lot more we can do without actually entering into negotiations with his collective bargaining union.
Right, and the bargain is, he is a animal control officer that's MCOL certified, and so he can do road patrol, but he's in the ASPE contract, he's not a Teamster member, so he's actually getting paid less than the deputies would be getting paid if they're on the road. But he's okay with this because he really likes his job, he has a big passion for what he does with the animals and everything. And he's very appreciative of having a truck that's gonna have air conditioned, it's not gonna overheat, it's gonna have transmission that works. So that's part of it, is my understanding in conversations with him, was keep me under ASME, make me so I can do road patrol and animal control, get me a truck that runs, and I'm happy. I don't need to go to Teamster, I don't need to get paid the equivalent of what the other road patrol guys are doing. But he's willing to do road patrol stuff and animal control stuff.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to comment and say it feels to me like we're talking about a person and not a position. This motion is for a position. It's making this position a different step than what it was before, not just meeting the needs of a specific person and the request of an employee. So that this is different than what we've talked about this week.
Well,
I don't
it's a
think the
person and it's a
step is
position,
the-
because we're going from.
Right. Do we have any other discussion on this at this time? My understanding was I knew we were compensating an extra step for the fact that he was doing those law enforcement duties. We were gonna be willing to give him that initial step a little early because of the duties he's taking on. And because we assumed that the scale might not have been taking into consideration a law enforcement officer. The fact that we found out that their job description does call and state that this is a legally sworn, which to me means if that was posted on the website, I don't even think anyone that wasn't legally sworn or certifiable would be able to apply or accept the position to begin with. So, had it not been certified as that, I guess I would. Because we're going to be negotiating anyways, and I think what do we got left? Year and a half?
For Ashman?
Or do we have 3 years?
No, we have less than 3 years. We have,
So he's going to get to the top of his steps before we start negotiating again, whether we do anything today, and then that could be renegotiated at the time when we.
that's true. He would, April 9, he went to 1390. Now, we missed that, so he'll be made whole for that. April 9, he should have gone to 1890. He was still at his previous one that was discovered in the course of this. And so, of course, he's at 1890 now, and he'll be made whole for that. Next April 9, he would go to this 1964. And then the following April 9, he would be at the top of the pay grade. But with this proposal was to just move him, it was to accelerate him into the next step 9 months sooner, which means he would hit the top 9 months sooner. It didn't really give an increased pay grade. It didn't increase his
No, there's no pay grade elevating.
No.
Just get up on a step a little early. Okay, anything else from anyone else? We'll do a roll call vote on this, please.
Commissioner Paulman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
No.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
No. Motion passes.
I move to approve the minutes of the June 11th, 2019 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Got a motion support, any discussion on the minutes or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. That motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Webster. We'll move to Health and Human Services, Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. The first item is to authorize the Health Department to sign a grant agreement with the Michigan Primary Care Association for the Perry Public Schools Mental Health Program in the amount of $100,000 for a period of June 1, 2019 through September 30th of 2020.
Support. We have a motion and support, any discussion on this item? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Paulman,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. Motion passes.
I would move to approve the minutes of June 11th, 2019 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support. The motion and support, any discussion or corrections on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. That motion passes.
That would conclude my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Garber. At this point, it's been a long month, I don't have anything. We'll go to the other agenda items. If anyone, Commissioner, at this time, has any other agenda items they would like to bring forward?
I would like to consider authorizing the clerk's vital records office to hire a part-time employee to work 20 to 30 hours a week with prorated benefits per the ASME contract. Article 43 at grade 3, starting at $14.77 per hour, be paid out of the clerk wages line item, number 101-215-703.000.
All right, we have a motion, but we would need 2/3 majority for this to even be heard before the committee to begin with. So we have a motion. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second the motion.
We have a second from Commissioner Plowman. We'll do a roll call vote for 2/3, and this is to consider this item on our agenda for today.
I'd like to make a comment before we
Yes.
move to vote. Why would we have committee meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before we get to Thursday? If we're just gonna bring something up because we don't like the way a committee voted for it. If we're gonna do that every month now, let's just skip Monday through Wednesday and go right to Thursday every week. every time we vote.
I would
Save
suggest,
us all some time and money.
that's why it takes 2/3 vote to add it to the agenda.
It gets old.
Well,
Part of the procedure.
Do we have anything else before we vote? 2/3 majority. We need to receive 5 votes to be added to the agenda and considered. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen,
No.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
No.
Commissioner Marks,
No.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes,
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
No. Motion fails, will not be added to the agenda. Do we have any other agenda items you would like to entertain or discuss? Hearing none, we'll move to the second opportunity for the public to address the board. If the public has anything at this time, we have no slips. If not, then we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Sure.